My name is Ron Storn. I'm the Chief People Officer of Zoom Inc. So we are better known for robots and pizza, but really we're disrupting the entire food supply and logistics chain and really trying to make sure that everyone has the opportunity to healthy, affordable food throughout the world. So it's a lot about sustainability and carbon neutral environment, but also a lot about prediction and logistics. So it's a very interesting space that you'll hear more about in the coming years. And previous to that, I was at Lyft. I grew the company. I was the first head of people, grew the company from 80 people to over 2,500, and that does not include drivers. So originally we were in 6 cities, and then it's now 500 plus cities. So it was a great, fun ride, no pun intended. But I learned a lot, especially leading the people organization, very much trying to innovate and try new types of technologies and things to help accelerate the people function and the company as a whole. Cool. I'm an advisor at People Tech, so I evaluate companies, potentially invest in companies as well too, and been there pretty much from the early days of the organization. And I find it to be very refreshing because you get introduced to new technologies and new leaders that can really help inform decisions on the HR practice, because we're always trying to innovate and provide data and to produce results. And I think that People Tech has helped with that and informing about new companies and technologies out there. Super. Bringing a community of HR leaders together to really help evaluate and also meet new founders and new technologies within the infrastructure. And because we do that, we have a lot of great skills and backgrounds to assess these types of products and also give advice on what works and what doesn't work. I think it's a great win-win for both the companies as well as the HR leaders involved. I think some of the technologies that I saw there, Bravely is one that I connected with through People Tech, that we're potentially using them to help inform some of our HR help desk needs. And I think what I like about these new technologies is that we can create different ways of how HR is transformed to the business, because in the old days it was more execution oriented. Now it's being more proactive and you have a business lens through that. So a lot of these companies have that business data that they can provide to inform decisions for the organizations that you support. And so our execs see that it's a new way of doing HR, and People Tech is a great driver of that. The workforce is changing, right? There's a lot of millennials. There's a lot of the whole independent contractors. At Lyft, the drivers are independent contractors. Here at Zoom, we have a lot of non-exempt workers who are actually doing the pizza making, also driving the cars. And so there's a different way of how you approach and communicate with them. So we're leveraging a lot of the technologies in order to really meet people where they're at and make sure that everyone is engaged. I mean, in this day and age, if you don't have an engaged workforce, you're not going to have a happy workforce and you won't be productive. So using the tools of People Tech, as well as some of the ideas that you gain from the other peers that you have within People Tech, that you can put that into place into those companies, and it makes more efficient workforce. But also help employees get through problems, and it's all anonymous as well too. So it provides another avenue for release for employees, so that they can remove any unproductive thoughts and issues that they're having, that they can still focus on their work. And so I've seen a lot of engagement from our workforce at Zoom, both non-exempt and exempt, and that engagement has led to better results within the company, because they felt that it was a great avenue for them to actually have a true professional understand what they're going through in order to help solve some of the issues they have that can affect their mindset. So normally they do a demo, and then you have access to talk through about the issues that you saw in the demo, and maybe you have feedback for them or they have feedback for you. So you have that interaction. Also, that you potentially can pilot their tool within your organization to see if it works, and then if it does work, then you could really have a full engagement there. So that communication and that access to those technologies is really important for me and my fellow HR leaders in order to make sure that we're always on top of what's new, what's out there, and what also can help us be better leaders within an organization. I think right now it's all about people analytics and really understanding and getting to the crux of how can you make sure that you understand the candidates that are coming through the process, but all your as well as your employees. Because if you have an understanding of what their strengths, what their skills are, what their backgrounds are, and you can optimize their strengths to projects that they can work on, that's going to be a win-win for everyone. So So using data and analytics to really help workforce planning, to also help from a recruiting standpoint, how can you improve the quality of your hires so that you're more efficient with your hiring? That's really what I'm excited about. At an organization at Lyft, I was the second person in the HR team when I joined, so we really didn't have anything. So the first focus was all about talent acquisition. How do you get the right people in the door? How do you get the processes in place? So what tools are out there from a recruiting standpoint that can leverage some of the sourcing and those aspects? Then as you scaled, it moved more into the HR side. And what are the tools that can help assess performance? How can you evaluate what your talent is? How can you get more talent development within the model? So from a learning and development standpoint, then also from compensation, what are some of the tools out there that you can use in order to make sure that you pay for performance and you're aligned with the marketplace? And then as you continue to scale, it's all about employee experience, right? So how do you have some tools that can make sure that people come together in a way that is social, but it also is productive, so you have an ROI and you have some of that data to show it. So we implemented some of this stuff at Lyft that I'm taking with me to Zoom, but then I think there's still a ways to go on finding the right tools to make sure that you plan people in the right way. 'Cause to me, the holy grail is that you have a task, right? And an exec comes to you and they say, okay, well, I need to launch India, for instance. So these are the 10 types of roles that I need. Now, who are the people that can fill those roles? So if we can get to the point where we understand our workforce really well and know what they want to do, where their gaps are and learning opportunities, and you can match that, and that could be workers from every office. It doesn't have to be in one office. That's the new wave of where HR is going and where companies are going. So if we can have tools that can help us with that from an hourly standpoint and also an exempt standpoint, that would be amazing.